is the color. All right, guys. So what we're going to be going over is the color application that we've been going over all week, okay? And we're going to be doing 3 different ones. We're going to go ahead and start in the front. Is going to be a single process color going darker or a tonality change. Then I'm going to show you how to do a retouch on this back quarter panel. And then in this other rear quarter panel, we're going to be doing a virgin hair going lighter, okay? So those are what we're going to be going over today for those of you guys that have missed, okay? Before you guys even get started, you sit your client down. What's the first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and you could just be talking to them, say, so what's on your mind today? You know, what color did you have in mind? But really what you're doing is just going through, check and see if there's any abrasions, any scalp disorders, anything that would prevent you from doing a hair color, okay? Once you go ahead and establish that the scalp is good, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to start our color, this section that we're going to do in the front is going to be a single process going darker or a tonality change, okay? So first you'd put your gloves on. I'm using conditioner, and then you'd want to take your barrier cream and make sure you put it around the facial area. Okay, so you're going to go around, put it around the ear, and now you're ready. Obviously, the client should be draped by now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take our tint brush, and you're going to outline the section. I like to do both sides, so I'm going to outline that side. I'm going to outline this side. And also outline this side here. Okay. I like to work from the top down. I think it's faster, more control on my behalf, but some people like to start on the bottom. Neither one is wrong. So we're going to take the subsections for this is a 1/2 inch. And once we go ahead and start, we're going to just draw that in. You don't want your brush straight up and down, guys, okay? If you do this, all you're going to do is just comb the product on top of the hair. You want to get it inside. So generally, want that to be about a 45-degree angle-ish off of the hair. Okay, I'm kind of working at a weird angle so you guys can see. You want to make sure you get the top and the bottom. And again, 1/2 inch subsection. Bring it out. And you want to make sure this is saturated really nicely. And you also don't want the parting to be too thick. The reason being is if you do too thick, once you get, let's say if I take this big, thick amount of hair, I don't know if you can see that, but if I put it on the top, it's not going to penetrate to the bottom. It's not going to go through the hair. That's why you wanted to do a 1/2 inch. Anything more, you very well could have some dry spots on the bottom side that you'll never see. Then you'll have to mix up a whole new batch of color to go back and fix that little area. Okay, so again, a 1/2 inch. This is the application of a single process going darker or a tonality change. I think you guys know what that means, but that's just if I wanted to keep her at the same level of hair, just maybe she wanted more copper in it, more red in it, or I'm not really going darker, just changing the tonality. Okay, and just a reminder, you got about 15 to 20 minutes to get this color on. One of the things that Mrs. Romero and I will always teach you guys is different ways. So I like to hold the comb at the bottom end of my hand and then the brush in this hand. So, or, you know, my fingers. So this way I can carve with my comb and apply with my brush, you don't ever want to have to like pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. That just slows you down. So this is how I have become comfortable with it. I know a couple of you guys have tried it. The other way is where Miss Romero will use the rat tail. I think Miss Jaramillo also uses the end of the brush, the tint brush, to apply color. This is fine too. The only reason that I do not do this is once I part the hair here, I've now put color product on my brush. So now I have color on this end and this end. To me, it's just a little bit messier. I don't like that feeling, especially when I get it on my hands. So that is why, and I think it's a little faster myself, but whichever way you train yourself is the way you're going to be faster. Okay. And I will encourage you guys, even though this is what we'll call just for an assignment, one of the things that you'll find is going to be the hardest thing when you get into the hair business is your speed. Speed is crucial. Okay. If you can't get this done within the 15 to 20 minute mark, you're going to have to throw whatever's left in your bowl away. And then you're going to have to make a whole new batch for the back or for whatever's remaining. So this is a color going a single process. One of the things that you want to make sure when you're doing the single process, a lot of people at home, when you guys are working on your hair, once you get this single process down, you just take all the hair, you squish it up on top, and you mat it all down. Well, remember, it has to be oxidized. So that means you got to have air going through it. So once you get all the color up, you want to come and just bring it all back down so it can oxidize. Okay. This will help the hair to process evenly. Okay. Kind of do a quick check, make sure that all your hair is colored. Check the hairline specifically, guys, because those little grays that happen right here, people would be like, well, it didn't cover. And then you're going to have to either bring them back in or you're going to have to fix it right there. Okay. So that is the single process going darker or tonality change. We're going to move into what we call retouch. So once you've done this front color, 6 weeks have gone by, you're like, they come back in, they got about a ½ inch new growth, and they want to get their hair colored. Okay. So we have to recolor just the new growth. You guys call it roots. It's kind of a false statement because the roots are inside the head, but technicalities, right? So again, when you're doing a retouch, the retouch is going to be the same starting point as the first one. You're going to go through, you're going to highlight, you're going to, excuse me, not highlight, you're going to outline. Mrs. Romero, Miss Jaramillo likes to say is like a coloring book. You got to outline it before you start coloring it. So you make sure you stay in the lines and make a nice clean color. Okay. Again, I am working kind of off to the side so you guys can see it, but generally I would have this right in front of me. Okay. Anytime that you guys are working, you don't want to be having your hands way up here. You don't want to be bending over. Sometimes I see you guys working on really low tables and you guys are bent over. You do this for 3 or 4 times in one day, it's going to start hurting. Okay. So one of the things that I did find that some of you guys are doing is you want to follow lines. Okay. So what happens is you guys are taking these angled lines. So you're coming at this angle, trying to follow the line. You don't have to do that. We're going to stay with the horizontal lines and you're still going to go just straight down the head. Okay. So you don't have to follow that. We're going to create our subsection right here. Again, you're going to be doing a ½ inch parting. You're going to get the top. Now, this is what we call the hot zone. Okay. That's all we're doing on this is the hot zone. Remember that when we get to the next section. Okay. This too is a ½ inch subsection, but you only want to go out to about 1 inch. If you have to go really further than the 1 inch, you are now going into the cold zone. If you go into the cold zone, that's going to process at a different speed than the hot zone. And we'll go over that in just a minute. So you want to go over. If you're doing like a bleach retouch, you definitely don't want to overlap too much. Obviously, you want to make sure you get to the line of demarcation. But if you start going into the other color, you know, the one that you did last, then you're going to start getting some damages. You know, the hair is going to become more fragile, or you're going to get different colors. You'll have these little bands in the hair. So up to the line of demarcation, no more than really 1 inch. I got to turn this a little bit, guys. Sorry. Again, 15 to 20 minutes to apply. So you got to be fast. But while you guys are doing this, for those of you guys are making it up, quality is better than quantity, okay? So we want to see a really nice clean lines. When you're doing this, I'd like to see you guys really create, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's a nice clean lines. Okay, if you guys are just picking up a bunch of hair and you can't see the scalps like in a straight line like this one, and if you're kind of just, you know, just grabbing hair and there's no rhyme or reason to it, I'm going to say it again. Either you control the hair or the hair will control you. This is for hair that is within about 3 or 4 levels. You remember that a level is the number 1 is the darkest, or dark brown, dark natural black. Generally is what number 1 will be. Sometimes they have, each color line has its different number system. So they have a level 1 that's actually a blue black, where they purposely put a lot of extra blue in there. Gives it a real pretty shine. It's really pretty. But number 2 is normally a natural black. So, you know, remember what your underlying pigments are going to be when you're making color decisions. So this is your retouch application. You'll notice that there's nothing on the ends. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but I'm only up to about 1 inch out. Again, we're going to pull all this down. One of the things that you don't have to worry about with the retouch is where you put the hair. But on this next section, where I'm going to be doing a virgin hair going lighter, when you are doing color, especially if you're doing a full single application, make sure that you don't take the hair from behind and forget where you're at, and then you bring this over and you slap them right in the face with their own hair that has color all over it. So when you're doing this single process application, make sure you put like a little clippy or something and then wrap it around it. I like to do that only because it reminds me to wrap around it and not let it go forward. So a friendly reminder there. Now the virgin hair going lighter, or if you're lightening artificial color, this is everything that I was saying earlier will make sense with the hot zone and the cold zone. Okay. We started this yesterday for 3rd session. This is the virgin hair going lighter. Mrs. Romero starts on the bottom. A lot of people do, because the hair is darker here and needs the most amount of processing time. Well, the hair up here may be a little lighter. That is why she started from the bottom. Again, because I'm much faster, I feel that it's faster than to part the hair, drop the hair, pin the hair, fix the hair. Drop the hair, part the hair, lift the hair, clip the hair. Just seems so slow to me, okay? It's all about speed. It's not all about speed, but you know what I mean. Okay, so as we just determined that 1 inch off the scalp is the hot zone. So with this, I want to stay off the scalp up to about 1 inch off. And this here is the cold shaft or the cold zone. If the hair that's down here on the ends, if it's really long, this hair's been here for 7, 8, 9 years. So chances are the sun has really bleached this out, made this very porous. So if I run that color all the way to the ends, that may go darker than I really want it to be. So that's why we don't run it to the ends. So once you are looking at the hair, if it's really, really damaged, you might want to just leave it up to about 2 inches off. If it's relatively healthy, you can go down to about 1 inch. But again, I'm going to lift up this hair. Now, with the virgin hair going lighter, the subsection changes from 1/2 inch, which is what we used on the other ones, to 1/4 inch on this one, because we really got to make sure that this is saturated. So we're going to take 1/2 inch off. We're going to start from 1 inch out. We're going to go out to about 2 inches in this case with my client here. Put my clippy up there and wrap it around there. And again, the reason that we stay off that hot zone is because heat will cause the color to process faster. So what we're doing is putting this in the middle shaft, or the mid shaft as you guys know it, to give the mid shaft a jump start before we start coloring the rest of the hair. Otherwise, you will get hot roots. I did look that up on Google yesterday. If you guys are curious to what hot roots are, go to Google, type in hot roots on hair, and you will find a large amount of hot roots. One of the things that I thought was very curious is Miss Romero put her fingers straight to the scalp and then bent them down. Right on top of that finger is about 1 inch. So if you don't know where 1 inch is at, that's a good little measure. Mrs. Jaramillo will teach you that it's the bend of your thumb from here. That is about 1 inch. Okay. So I myself, I just kind of go with what I think 1 inch is, which is probably not good, but after you've done this for a while, you'll know what it feels like. So again, 1/2 inch out, mid shaft, put it around my clip, 1/2 inch parting, one inch out. I did have a client that came in that had 1.5 inches of new growth, probably closer to 2 inches. I was feeling pretty confident that I could get the right color out of it. Nope. There are some color laws that just don't bend. One of them is trying to speed up the cold shaft as fast as the hot, the warm zone, the hot zone. It doesn't work. I ended up getting hot roots on her. I ended up having to go back, making a whole new batch of decolorizer, otherwise known as bleach, and go back in. Had to hit the area that gold band was at. Added another 45 minutes to my time because I tried to cut a corner. Listen to your heart, guys. Your mind will say, you can do it. But really, there are some laws that cannot be broken. Okay, for the risk of running out of product, this is the new growth. I mean, the virgin hair going lighter. So again, I'm 1/2 inch off the scalp. Okay, see there. Okay, and my ends are still dry. I don't know if you can see them. Okay, so let's pretend that this whole section's done. Let's pretend that I've done that all the way through the head, all the way around. Now this color's had 20 minutes or so jump start. So now I'm going to go mix up my color for the new growth. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to all the dry new growth area and the hot zone. And I'm going to go ahead and color the hot zone and the ends. And now it's kind of like a retouch, doing the new growth and then the ends. This is a virgin hair going lightener. Chances are just going lighter, because if you have artificial hair that you're trying to lift, you got to get that up first too. New growth, ends. Quarter and subsection. New growth, ends. Okay? And that is a virgin going lighter, color going lighter. Okay? 1 inch off the scalp, hot zone. Cold zone is 1 inch to the mid shaft. Ends are dry or lighter, so those get done when you're doing the hot zone. Okay? I hope that that made 100% sense. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. Let me grab a chair. So, go ahead and review this video. Get it done on your mannequins. Take some pictures of it. If you guys have a YouTube channel, you can actually record yourself doing this. But there you have it. Have fun with it.